Gweilo or Gweilo is a common Cantonese slang term for foreigners, although this does not apply to many other Asian races, and has a history of racially deprecatory use. Cantonese speakers frequently use the term Gweilo to refer to foreigners in general and consider the term non-derogatory, which some members of the foreign community historically resented. Etymology and history: gwai means ghost, or devil, and lo means a man, regular guy, a chap or a bloke. The term Gweilo therefore literally means ghost man, and is sometimes translated into English as foreign devil. Historically, Chinese people had the image of its borders continuously breached by uncivilized tribes given to mayhem and destruction, and they considered these people the full barbarians. In the 16th century, when European sailors appeared in southern China, they were also similarly regarded as barbarians and given derogatory names. In Chinese, ghost can be a derogatory term used as a curse or an insult, and the word ghost had been used to describe foreigners. For example, a 17th-century writer from Canton Jun wrote that Africans look like ghosts, and gwai was once used to describe African slaves. The term Gweilo or Gweilo to describe white foreigners was popularized during the First and Second Opium Wars in response to the unequal treaties. In southern parts of China, the term Gweilo was used. In northern parts of China, the term West Ocean Ghost was used, Europe being west of China. Although originally derogatory, gwai is now considered by some to be an acceptable generic term for Westerners in Hong Kong. For example, gwai po means a Caucasian woman, gwai mui a Caucasian girl, and gwai ji a Caucasian child. Gweilo has now been recognized as simply referring to foreigners, especially Westerners, in Southeast Asia and now appears in the Oxford Dictionary defined as such. Usage: nowadays, some Hong Kong residents and other Cantonese speakers often refer to non-Chinese people by their ethnicity. This is in sharp contrast to other parts of China, including the Cantonese-speaking South, where foreigners are most commonly referred to as. This literally means old foreigner, but depending on context, old can be both a term of endearment and one of criticism. The term gwai and Gweilo is an adjective that can be used to express hate and deprecation, an example being the locals' expression of their hatred towards the Japanese during their occupation of Hong Kong in World War II with the same gwai. It conveys a general bad and negative feeling and is a somewhat obsolete and archaic old-fashioned term nowadays, and other more modern terms have largely replaced gwai for similarly negative meanings. The pejorative sense of Gweilo can be specified when the term is prefaced by the adjective seri. Seri Gweilo literally means dead ghost man, thus means a bad Gweilo, or a bad Caucasian. Seri is also commonly added to other terms in order to describe the person or people being referred to as bad, such as seri lo, meaning literally dead man, or bad guy, and seri chai lo, literally dead policeman, or bad policeman. Cantonese people also can call each other seri gwai, literally meaning dead ghost, but refers to a bad person also, though more often than not it is applied affectionately, similar to hey bitch in English when used affectionately. The character gwai itself can have negative connotations, even without the word seri, for example when it was attached to the Japanese military in the term gaizibing during their invasion of China, which lasted from 1931 to 1945. However, the same term can also be applied derogatorily to any foreign military which was an enemy to China. While Gweilo is commonly used by some Cantonese speakers in informal speech, the more polite alternative Sai Yan is now used. Historically, the term was considered racist by non-Cantonese people. Many Cantonese speakers, however, frequently use the term Gweilo to refer to foreigners in general, and they consider the term non-derogatory. On the other hand, some members of the Hong Kong community with foreign ancestry, particularly the younger generation, embrace the term. The term lo when used in other situations is generally quaint, as it is a term that has mostly fallen out of use, and the intentional use of it carries a certain comical sense. Variations: Gweilo is the most generic term, but variations include, to refer to a black foreigner, hak gwai. To refer specifically to white boys, gwai. To refer specifically to white girls, gwai mui. To refer specifically to white women, gwai po, which is also often spelled gwai po. Due to its widespread use, the term gwai, which means ghost, has taken on the general meaning of foreigner. Although historically derogatory, it can refer to white people, although other racial terms for Africans can be used for these people perceived to be non-white. Indians and Middle Eastern people are called Akar or more Law Chai. For further information, see Chinese Wikipedia link ZH, here 1/3 a registered trademark. Related terms. The Cantonese term gwai means white devil, and was used historically as a derogatory reference to Caucasians. In Mandarin, gaizi is a similar term to Gweilo. Gaizi, however, can be used to refer to either the Japanese or Europeans' ocean devil. Laowai is a word usually used for Europeans, and is a less pejorative term in Mandarin than gaizi. Also, cf angmo meaning red hair. Also, in Mandarin, xiaogi is a common term for child. Based on that usage, some argue that in Chinese is just a neutral word that describes non-expectable or something hard to predict. In popular culture, comics Larry Fane's Lily Wong comic stories, about the build-up to the handover of Hong Kong to China, make frequent references to the term, often in a derogatory sense used by Lily's father. Film In Big Trouble in Little China, James Hong refers to Kurt Russell as a Gweilo. In Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, Bruce Lee is told to not teach martial arts to the Gweilo anymore. However, Lee wants to teach to whomever wishes to learn. In Out for a Kill, Steven Seagal's character is frequently referred to as the Gweilo professor. In Balls of Fury, Randy Daytona is often referred to as a Gweilo as he is the only Caucasian player in the ping-pong school. Games In the video game Alpha Protocol, the main character Mike Thornton is referred to as Gweilo by the Chinese triad leader Hong Shi. In the computer game Deus Ex, when the player embarks on the Hong Kong mission, he is often disparagingly referred to as Gweilo by locals when attempting to talk to them. The phrase is also used by the Harvester leader and a weapons merchant in the 2011 prequel Deus Ex: Human Revolution. In the video game Kane and Lynch 2, Dog Days, some Shanghai gang members refer to Kane and all Lynch as Gweilo. In the video game Mafia 2, the protagonist Vito is derogatively referred to as Gweilo by Chinese characters. In the video game BioShock Infinite, Booker DeWitt is called a Gweilo by a Chinese prisoner in Finkton. Literature In Paolo Bacigalupi's The Wind-Up Girl by Paolo Bacigalupi, the main character is referred to as a Yang Gaizi by a Chinese employee as he manages a factory in futuristic Bangkok. Martin Booth's autobiography, Gweilo, Memoirs of a Hong Kong Childhood, discusses the author's childhood in Hong Kong and applies the term Gweilo as a racial epithet for Caucasians. Use of the term gwai to refer to Westerners is frequently referenced in Maxine Hong Kingston's The Woman Warrior, Memoirs of a Girlhood Among Ghosts. Gwai is used as a collective term for the Old Ones in Anthony Horowitz's The Power of Five. Gwai is the Chinese name for the Old Ones, and means evil spirit in the series. In Geoffrey Morgan Pike's novel Henry Golightly by Geoffrey Morgan Pike, the main character is referred to as a Gweilo as he works on his boat in Macau and other parts of Asia. Television CFMT-TV in Toronto had a cooking show named Gweilo Cooking, hosted by a Cantonese-speaking European chef, who was also the show's producer and a person who named the show. In response to some complaints, the Canadian Broadcast Standards Council ruled that, while historically, Gweilo may have been used by Chinese people as a derogatory remark concerning foreigners, particularly European Westerners, the persons consulted by the council indicate that it has since lost much of its derogatory overtone. The council finds that the expression has also lost most of its religious meaning, so that foreign devil no longer carries the theological significance it once did. Based on its research, the council understands that the expression has gone from being considered offensive to, at worst, merely impolite. According to CFMT-TV, Gweilo was used as a self-deprecating term of endearment. Others, however, particularly foreigners living in Hong Kong, and non-Chinese subjected to the term in Vancouver and Toronto, find it to be demeaning and/or racist. However, it is also used by some non-Chinese to address themselves in the context of experiencing discrimination by Chinese towards them. In the HBO drama Deadwood, Chinese settler Mr. Wu frequently applies the term Gweilo to various white men. It is translated as cocksucker by Wu himself. See also. References. External links: the dictionary definition of Gweilo at Wiktionary.